I left my family. I left my kids. I left my nightclubs, my parking company, $35 million to fight the fight.
And we're live. Another episode of Mafia Truths. I'm Felix Levine, to my right, John Alite, and we are joined today by Larry Mazza. Before we get into that, of course, if you are not a member of our Patreon family, please subscribe now. We have bonus content, early content. We do our live call-ins, so you can talk to John and ask him all your great questions there. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, of course, as always. We have signed memorabilia, signed bats, signed photos, all that good stuff, johnalite.com. But without further ado, we want to get into it with Larry Mazza, because there has been someone that has been chirping at the both of you on the internet, and I think it would be only right to have you two address it together here on our show. So thank you for coming on.
Good to see you, pal.
Thanks.
Good to see you, both you guys. Thanks, Phil. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
And I just, Johnny and I answered a little bit of this the other day on another friend of our show, Gunner Allen.
Right.
And I guess Calandra and Sammy, or whoever FBI agent he has behind him, must have watched it along with him. And he had some rebuttals. And one of them was about culpability for Mary Barry, because it was our crew, Greg, that took her out. So he's saying that I'm as low as him. So first thing I said was, which is true, this kid wouldn't know that word from Adam. He wouldn't know how to use the word culpability. He couldn't spell it. So that's proof right there that he's being coached, okay? But it's a valid point, okay? However, Greg's own words to me were the reason he didn't take me and a few other guys that he mentioned that I won't mention is because we didn't have the stomach for it. And I'm happy he felt that way. And I wasn't on the hit. And I didn't ever botch an attempt, a burglary, and by mistake kill a woman. So it's a big difference, okay? And he also brought something up about getting straightened out during a war and things like that. So it's a fact that Junior Persico was straightened out during a war. Maybe that's why he was so behind getting us in at the time. And plus, when we had that meeting, we were declaring ourselves a family. That was the whole point. There was no more split. We were the family. We went to the heads of the other families. We were recognized by the Chin. We were recognized half and half with the Lucchese's. Spiro recognized us. And even the Gambino family were 50-50. John told nobody to talk to us, but guys were coming in constantly, like the Jachicos. I think the guy's name was Frank Maroney, something like that. He'd come in a lot. So we had a lot of guys coming in, but he did have a couple of points that I know were impossible for him. So now we know we're not dealing with this moron. There's somebody behind him.
Oh, you know what, Larry? I already said it. I just said it on another part of my Patreon, and I said it's obvious that Sammy put him on as a monkey for him to do little tricks, and Sammy's trying to show, well, one time I was the underboss, and in my opinion, did Sammy put him up to some of this? I don't know, but Sammy should have had no business putting a dummy like this kid on, give him the stage,
Confidence.
And the confidence. That's the word I'm looking for. Give a dummy like this the confidence to come out and talk like this. So if he didn't do it, then he needs to come out and say, I apologize for bringing a dummy like this onto the stage and give him the confidence for this, because he needs to speak out and say, okay, I put this guy on because I wanted to show I could treat him like a clown, and I am the underboss at one time, and the guy will still, roll over and do tricks for me because I could control him. And I made a comment the other day on the show, I think it was on Gunner's show. I said, I think I seen Jimmy's hand under the table. Now, honestly, I want to be a gentleman about this and say, you know what? Like I said, we're all friends, whether it's you, whether it's Gunner, whether it's me, whether it's Anthony Ruggiano, all of us have the same thing. We all help each other along, whatever we're doing. We're all gentlemen with each other. This nonsense is for a dumb kid that never had the ability to make 2 cents, and he's not intelligent enough to spell the word culpability, and he's not intelligent enough to even carry on a half-ass robbery with a woman. It doesn't take too much intelligence. Instead, they killed her. But he doesn't have no apologetic side to him about the life. All of us are capable of moving on and going a different direction. He obviously can't go in that direction. He's not capable of making $1 when he was on the street before or now. So why is he pulling us into something that really has nothing to do with us. And, there's only an objective here is to get a little bit of attention.
I'll tell you a little something, and it's going to go along with what you just said. And I mentioned it before. I'll mention it again. He has a vision of maybe being a thug in the street. That's your way into a family, stealing hubcaps, then selling drugs. Doing all these thuggish things. They'll find you. They'll find the guy with good character, a guy that's going to be loyal, a guy that has intelligence, a guy that could earn. You look at all the successful guys in that life, that's what they're about, okay? He doesn't have one of those traits. He was never pulled in and groomed and taught the ways of the life. He was never brought into a partnership in this bookmaking business because of his brains with numbers. I was, okay? I was brought into a partnership in sports, numbers, and I brought horses to us. They weren't even taking horse action. I said, you're going to OTB every day taking numbers. We should be taking the horses too. So I went, I undercut OTB. We wound up with a few $1,000s a day in horse business because we paid the full price. That's what they look for. If you look at guys like Gas Pipe, Junior Persico, I'm not saying they won't fight or anything, but they're not known for being thugs and tough guys with their hands. They were killers. They worked their way up and they were groomed to get where they got. So he just has a different vision of what it takes to get somewhere.
Well, Larry,
and that's why he never did get anywhere.
Well, he didn't get anywhere. And I was talking about it early on my show that, when he was in McKeon with me, the guy checked into solitary confinement to PC, protective custody. And I left the name out that was there. I gave a list of names. I forgot. Teddy Persico was there too, Carmine's brother. So, this guy, you can't, but this, our world's too small. Everybody knows each other. You can't play this role with us, and he's not, just what you said, he's a nitwit. So, to even address this and waste our time with this guy today will be the last time I even talk about this kid. I just, because he's just a waste of time. He doesn't have any attributes to be a street guy then, and he has no attributes now to be successful now. And some of the things he did to like Sal or my friend Mike or to Gabe, to their wives and trying to pick guys' wives up and do some of these lousy things, he is what he is. And really, I don't think we need to say much. His own personality, the way he talks, will show people what he is.
Hey Larry, quick question for you, Larry.
Yeah.
When you saw those first videos where he's calling you out, John out, whatever, what was your initial reaction?
Well, I couldn't understand why, because we have nothing in common. We didn't really know each other. We didn't grow up together. The amount of time we did together was probably days or weeks. I really don't even remember being with him. I can't remember where it was. It was probably MCC. He says Otisville, but he made a mistake about that whole thing because when I left the building, it was from MCC, not Otisville. But I was, coming from him, knowing his caliber, it certainly didn't hurt. I mean, I wasn't, my feelings weren't hurt, but I knew there was more to it, and now it's just being proven by his comeback sauce. But at first, and a lot of people that had read or saw it told me, oh, don't even say anything. There's not a time in my life where I didn't open my mouth to defend myself if there was an accusation or a disrespect, even if I wasn't going to walk out or if I was going to get a beat. It doesn't matter. I'm not that type. I'm going to open my mouth and then we'll figure it out from there. So that's why I answered right away. And Johnny came on and he answered. He's just saying he's not going to sit back, but we're not going to entertain his life forever either. That's all it is. To him, it's entertainment. He's got something to do with his life now.
Well,
So
he doesn't.
we don't need it.
Yeah, well, again, like I said, you yourself. I'll talk about you or somebody else or Joey Calco, whoever. It doesn't matter. Everybody's busy with their own lives, with their wives, with their family, with personal issues, with a career, with businesses. He doesn't have that. So I understand where he's coming from, and then somebody's got strings behind his back. So for me, I don't know who that person is. But now I'd like to hear from Sammy about it anyway. Now, since it is, and Sammy's the one that put him on the front stage, I want to hear what Sammy has to say about it. I want to hear his opinion of the kid. I want to hear his opinion because he didn't know him, by the way. I don't know if I told you that. Because when I went to Cleveland, I went to a charity event that they asked me to go to for a kid that had cancer and an epileptic. And, Jimmy asked, and he brought Karen, and Karen didn't know him. And Sammy called me up and said, do you know this kid? He's a dumb kid, blah, blah, blah. And do you know the kid? Because I don't trust him with my daughter. I said, don't worry, Sam, I'm going to be there. I says, but he didn't know the kid. So to put him on a front stage like this, because he's just a low-level kid like this, and he doesn't have any attributes. Why would you do it besides only one reason? Like I said, you just want to show people how he'll do whatever you say. If you tell him shut up, he'll shut up. When you put somebody like yourself on the show, you can have a banter about the life, the good, the bad, what we don't like, why we moved on, whatever. And you can have a normal conversation. And if it ain't with you, he could have did it with Anthony Arlotta. If it's not Anthony Arlotta, I've been bringing up these names, Anthony Ruggiano.
Right.
Somebody that really understands and was about this life.
Yeah.
Not this dummy that is, throwing dirt up now for whatever reason that's complete nonsense and lies. Hey, everybody out there. For people that don't know, I have a Patreon channel that you can subscribe to, please. And we'll talk about content that is not out on YouTube. It's exclusive. We'll cover Q&A on a regular basis once a month. We sell my baseball bats and they're autographed, and we will talk about content that you won't hear anywhere else but here on Patreon. Thank you, everybody. Please reach out and subscribe. Thank you.
I got a question for you. And it actually was something my wife mentioned to me. I had said the other day, I didn't go to Arizona. Sammy's been asking me to come there for a while. And I told him right off the bat, the reason I won't go is because this kid was there. And I knew what he did to a dear friend. And I'd be uncomfortable at the least. So I'm not going to go. And I was wondering, were you invited to go there also?
Yes, I was invited there. Listen, he used to call me every day at the beginning.
Maybe they're scorned.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, one of the scorned thing is...
It's still childish.
Well, here's one of the scorned things, I think. We're doing the project with Nicholas Pileggi. You got other projects. We got things going on. I didn't invite Jimmy on the show because of the woman thing. He killed a woman, so I wouldn't allow him on the show. Sammy wanted me to do certain things come to Arizona. I didn't come. Another friend of mine, Frankie, that I'm very close with, that's not in this genre, doesn't want to get involved. He was involved in his life and his whole family. I think you know what I'm talking about. He didn't want to go. So I think maybe, I don't know what his objective here is, but the objective is this. None of us care about who anybody is unless you're going to be a gentleman and friends, because there's too many of us that are all friends together. We all went out to dinner the other day. A lot of those guys are more friends with you, grew up with you, and a lot of them I know since we're kids, and some of them I'm more friendly with. But we're all friends and respect each other. None of us do this to each other. We all try to help each other in every which way our hands are out. So when this goes on, I got no respect for anybody who's behind it. And if this goes on with this kid, and after today, like you said, we had to address it so people understand the mentality of the life before and our mentality now. And I said earlier, lad, what I said was there's guys that try to kill me that I talk to. They're my friends now. There's guys that cooperated against me, that took the stand that I talked to. Because I said I walked away from that life. I meant it. I'm going to do by my actions, not by words. And if this kid really wants to be that killer, then you should have been one, not killing women. Go kill the guy you want to kill. If you had problems with somebody, you should have took care of it. You shouldn't have ratted, and you shouldn't have went into PC when you were in a regular joint. And you're not going to change those things. There was too many guys there. I named 100 guys that were there. So everybody knows what that story was. And everybody knows he didn't eat with Joe Gambino or anybody else. It's ridiculous. This kid is talking out of his ass. So now he wanted to get fact-checked. I guess we fact-check him a little bit. And then really, if Sammy doesn't have nothing to do with bringing this kid, that's fine. I'll take his word on it, but then come out and say something about what this kid's doing. I want to hear it now. We're going to put him out in Front Street, and he's going to have to answer to it, because there's nobody. That old life is over. And I've said this over and over. I'll be a gentleman to everybody's a gentleman to us. If you're not, then you can step away from all of us. I says, there's no position here. Those days are long and gone when you cooperated. If you didn't want to cooperate back then maybe you'd be an underboss still. So, to keep this truthful in the right way, if you didn't like what went on, you should have killed Gotti in jail. You were a gangster, kill him. Hire somebody to kill him. So, we all got answers for this stuff. And, and I'm not going to be like everybody else and different guys and put up with it. I'll never put up with it. My personality is I'm not a fake guy. If he has nothing to do with it, then I'll shake his hand and say, okay, I'm sorry, but you need to address it now because you're the guy that put him out here. So now we all want to know, are you behind it or you're not behind it? Is, you don't know the kid because I know you talk to me on the phone personally, you don't know him. So, what are you doing with the kid? What purpose does this kid have, and what purpose do you want with a kid that killed a woman? So, I don't know. The guy never killed nothing else, not that I know of. The guy never did anything. And he keeps saying he was an armed robber. He never robbed no banks. He robbed boxes out of a wall. I know armed robbers. I talked about them earlier, the young guns. Those were tough kids. Those kids were robbing things. This is whether guys like Tabita or not that he's talking. I took a picture with. The guy was a serious guy. He was no joke. So, I'll respect my enemies, and now they're my friends. And I'll respect my friends, and I walked away from that life. So I don't hold no grudges to anybody that try to kill me or guys that testified against me, other guys. It's over for me. So, and I mean what I say because I got a positive message now. I'm not going to do that nonsense.
Right. No, in the circle we're in, it's hard not to come across somebody that crossed you one way or the other.
Yeah, you got to let it go.
I've been friends with a guy now for a while that during the war I was supposed to shoot. And I didn't because he was harmless and he made a fortune. And I remember getting a message back from Junior after a few people were upset with me for not carrying it through. Getting a message back that the kid is right. The guy is worth a fortune. Why do we want to lose somebody like that? And I already had a few under my belt. It's not that I couldn't do it.
Right.
But it made no sense. None. I says, who do we want under us when we win this thing?
Yeah.
But anyway, I've been out to eat with this guy several times.
Yeah.
He knows it. But you're right. So it's a small circle. And Sammy's the one that first told me that there was some dissension between Francesi and him or somebody. And he says, we got to put all this to rest. I says, you never hear me say a bad word. I'm not going to do it. And if I don't like a guy, I won't talk about it. But I agreed with him. I says, no, absolutely. There should be none of that. There's no reason for it. And now, look, the guy he's got on his show is starting all, it's Machiavelli. And that's what's scary. They can't get away from that old Machiavelli, divide and conquer.
Well, you know how it's a small world right now. Next year is a friend of ours, right, of yours, and we have mutual friends, and it's a small world. And the same thing with the guy he mentioned, the father. If I didn't have a grudge, and I got a grudge, but I let it go because the past is over. The guy's a very wealthy guy, the father, because of me. And you know what? If I hold on, it's done. It's over. If I saw the guy, I would shake his hand, to be honest with you. It's over. I mean, I'm not happy what he did to me back then. I made him very wealthy. He didn't do the right thing back. And that's the life. If I didn't like the outcome, I could have stayed in the life and tried to kill him. But
that's the difference. If you were still there, you'd do something.
Right.
If you were still in that life, you wouldn't let it go.
But I chose not to do that. I chose to move on. So if I do see him, I got to let it all go and shake his hand. And I will. I would shake his hand too. But I'm not going to allow guys now that are little like nothings to us. We had to answer it. And we know he's not intelligent enough to do this on his own. And obviously...
No, just with the rebuttals. As soon as he came back with some answers... Well,
Gunnar said it yesterday to me too. Gunnar knows. Me and Gunnar had this talk yesterday for 2 hours. So, all of us aren't dummies. If that Machiavelli stuff's not going to fly with us anymore. I mean, that's the old days and the treachery. Right. We're not kids.
My life once.
Right.
It ruined my life once. It's not happening again.
Yeah.
And it's ruining the country now, if you want to go into politics.
Yeah.
But we won't go there.
Hey, Larry, quick
I said that. I said like a puppet.
Yeah.
But that's it. I'm not going to say anything about politics.
Question for the two of you guys. Let's start with you, Larry. What would you say if you were sitting in a room with him right now?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, I tell him to back up his words, back up his threats, or get the fuck out of here. I mean, really, he said some threatening notes and all of this nonsense. I didn't even want to bring that up because
he sent it to me. He sent it to me.
He's thousands of miles away. He did that to Sal, my buddy. If I want to meet him in the schoolyard, like when I was in high school, I'm 60 years old now, but not that easy to hit. And I don't believe he'd last 10 seconds with me. No, unless he came with a bat and came up behind me.
No, he ain't.
Okay?
He ain't lasting 5 seconds.
Outside of that,
not 5 seconds with you, Larry. I try to teach him to box, so I know what he can do.
Even though I'm not a practicing martial artist anymore, I still got enough in me that I can guarantee you he won't last 10 seconds unless he sneaks up behind you. But I'm not looking for that. I'm not looking for any confrontations. But if I was in a room with him, I'd have to tell him that. Back up what you said. Just back it up. I'm not in hiding. I mean, if you really want to come, I mean, if you got a problem with me, come and get me. But, I'm not going to do this over the internet. I told Gunnar I'm going to have to get, I used to wear a bulletproof vest during the war. I'm going to get 10 little ones for my fingers for the keyboard. I'll invent them and I'll sell them to the keyboard tough guys. Really. I mean, that's a great question because I said something too. When you make your move away from the life and they give you this lie detector test, the first question they ask me, if you were in at the Carmine Cessa, would you have any animosity? I had a lie right off the bat. This is the first guy that ratted on everybody in our family. I back then I still felt disgusted. I would have loved to get my hands on him, but I had to say, nah, I'm all right. Don't worry about it. I had to fail because I knew what I was thinking, But so anyway, that's a great question because it's the last thing I'm looking for at this stage of the game. I just want to enjoy dinner, go out, have a great life. Like I said, we're all doing good. You can get a fucking pimple like this. Really.
What about you, John?
I tell him to go back to church. I said it actually. I texted him because he was texting me nonsense notes this morning. And then I was like, listen, I'm not going to answer you. I said, stop writing me. And I said, go back to church, live a good life, apologize to the woman's family, and ask for forgiveness. Stop talking like an idiot. You're talking like a 12-year-old kid. You weren't about it back then when all the action was on the street. All of us were doing all kinds of things. You weren't about it. You're not going to do it now. So I'm not going to even entertain that stupid talk that he does. And go get a happy life, man. The rest of us, we have families and wives and girls and children and businesses. And if you don't have that, I'm sorry, go make it somewhere. But, stop trying to intervene in everybody's life to get a little attention. And you're going to get like we're giving him now. We're going to give him a half hour of his fame. And then it's over. I'm done with this kid. I got my own problems, health problems, family problems. And, I don't got the time for this kid. So, if it's somebody behind it, like I said, I'm more curious about who's teaching him this and telling him because I did time with him. He's not intelligent and he's not tough. So, and he never made money. I'll repeat it again. So those are the things, the attributes. And there's a reason, Sal, and, Larry, I said about Sal, when a guy doesn't have any friends and nobody's, when we all go to dinner and it's 20 of us or 15, there's a reason because everybody enjoys each other's company and there's no backbiting and there's no nonsense. But when a guy has a friend like Chris Pacillo, who's filthy rich and will not give him $1,000 a week job, you got to say to yourself, why won't this guy bother with him? And, forget about us, So he has no friends, nobody. Every friend he ever had, he screws over. He either tries to screw your wife, he writes stupid things, and I don't know if he has a drug issue. I know he has a little bit of a drinking thing. If he has a drug, I don't know what it is. And I haven't seen recently his family at all in any pictures. So maybe she left him and the kids. I don't know. But I know this is the ridiculous conversation.
Maybe he lost the photo album he said I brought from him. Maybe he lost all his pictures.
Yeah.
So, that was an embarrassing statement. I can't believe he said that. But
anyway.
But that thing you said about Chris is a great point because they were supposed to be childhood friends growing up together.
Yeah, you wouldn't give him a job. I know he asked him. Chris said no.
He's off the ground big time, like you said. So that's it. Proof is in the pudding.
But when you're attacking us because Joey's Calco, and Joey's in the gym and he's liking his pictures. So what are you mad at? I took a picture with the guy for. I never said that I had anything against Joey. And Joey, I got nothing against him. I think Joey's a nice kid. Nice guy. He ain't a kid. He's a tough guy. He's not no punk. So, when you're talking, but Joey doesn't want no part of it either. Everybody wants to be left alone. And, for the guys, and I say the same thing all the time, for all those guys on the street, active or not, we're all friends. Nothing's changed in our personalities. We just want a peaceful life now. So, when guys make that mistake, I've always said it, they're wrong. Nobody's by themselves here. So, if guys want negative life, go out there. There's plenty of guys that'll give you a negative life out there. So.
Yeah. He could go relocate on his own and go back to the life of crime.
I just told him, I know you're in Rockaway. I could have gave the exact address. That's, I already know. I'm not trying to do that. I just want to let him know, I know where you are. I know exactly where you are. I mean, so, I don't know what he's looking for. I'm not trying to do that to him. I'm not trying to front him out to other people that are still in action. But he needs to just go away and go, that's it. Just go about your business and go make a living.
Yeah, not crazy.
Well, Larry, it was good to have you on again. Maybe next time, if you're in New York City anytime soon, we'll have you in the studio.
Lads, good.
Oh, I'd love to.
Hey,
So
what's your book's name again, Lad? You got a
The
book?
Life.
The Life.
The Life.
For guys that want to see his book, Gunner's got a book out. I have a book out.
Yeah.
Mafia International, other guys that are active. Anthony Arlotta's putting something out. Anthony Ruggiano is always with me. Anybody wants to reach him. So, I keep saying the same thing. I says, you know what? Maybe some guys don't like the way I talk. Maybe they like the way you talk. When the next guy, well, whatever. We're all friends. Nobody's going against each other. So for the people out there, they got to understand when someone's doing this with us, you got to just let it go,
Yeah. Well, maybe like we said, this is it. Unfortunately, so many other people call us, tell us they think they're, because they support us. They don't like what's going on. But I got to start telling people, stop even calling me. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I don't want to hear any of that. It's a waste
he's
of
not
time.
going to stop.
No.
He's going to keep it up.
Well, I could tell him he could call my ex-wife because she likes to break them, so he could call her and they can go at it with each other. No, I'm teasing my ex-wife. I got a decent relationship with her.
Not good. You should.
Yeah, no, I do.
That's good.
Actually, I get along with
Well,
her
listen,
husband too. I get along with her.
I hope you take good care of yourself. So when I see you, we'll go out and have a nice dinner.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little better now. So.
I'll come to. I wasn't sure if this show was from New York or down here, on the west coast of Florida or what.
No, we're in New York. We're in Brooklyn, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, good to know. So when I'm up there, I'll come see you guys.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much, Larry.
See you guys.
All right,
Take
thank
care.
you.
Thank you,
John,
everybody.
I'll talk to you
I'll see
later.
you. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, have a good night.
All right, bye.